Welcome to the Swish List Podcast, where we talk all things basketball. Hosted by two brothers, Moses and Roman. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Swish List Podcast. This is episode 6. I'm Moses. He's Roman. Let's dive right into it. We can't start anywhere else but talking about the NBA Finals. We just finished Game 2. By the time this goes live, Game 2 will be over. What are some of your early thoughts watching that game?
Well, this is exactly what you talked about, how game ones really don't determine series. It felt like the Nuggets were really going to control this. Everybody's saying sweep or gentlemen sweep for the Nuggets. But hey, the Heat showed up today in a major way. And it wasn't even Jimmy Butler. Duncan Robinson came through for them. If anybody needs a spotlight for what they did, especially for game 2, it's Duncan Robinson. It seemed like we were kind of back and forth. Nuggets held the lead for most of the game. In that fourth quarter, when it mattered, Duncan Robinson hit timely shots, drove to the rim. The way that he's been slashing at the hoop is something that I haven't seen from him in recent years. So props to Duncan Robinson for showing up and helping them get this win.
He had a critical stretch with 2 3-pointers and one that drive to the basket that you're talking about. Those were major buckets when the game could have really slipped out of Miami's hands. Gabe Vincent also had a really big game, scoring 23 points. I thought Bam played well. And one of the best things that you see in game 2s when it comes to the coaches is who's actually able to make really good adjustments. Eric Spoelstra made an adjustment with Kevin Love, inserting him into the lineup a lot more. Kevin Love started tonight. And by playing Kevin, you got a larger lineup that was able to defend guys like Aaron Gordon a lot better. Even though Kevin Love isn't as athletic, he still has the size needed against the Nuggets. And I think that's one of the things that exposed Miami in that game 1. But everyone wants to talk about a sweep just because you won the first game. But guess what? Like Jimmy Butler said, it's a 7-game series. Now, I still believe in the Denver Nuggets. As great as Miami played tonight, and I believe they played extremely well. It didn't look like they missed in the fourth quarter. Jokic still had 40 points, 11 rebounds, but guys didn't really hit shots off of his passes. He only had 4 assists. So you gave up 40 to Jokic. Even though the Heat played an incredible game, the Nuggets were still in it, and at one point had a 15-point lead. So it's officially a series. It's 1-1. Miami did what they needed to do. They eliminated home court. They're headed back to Miami, where I do believe you're going to see Denver win game 3. But it's nice to know that this is a little bit more exciting now. Instead of it being 2-0, 1-1 means we have a finals that just got a lot more interesting.
It creates more excitement for a series that I wasn't as excited for as I wanted to be.
Yeah, if there's 2 guys that I think need to play better, it's Michael Porter Jr. on the offensive end. He struggled a little bit. He struggled in game 1, and in game 2, 5 points, shooting 2 for 8 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3. This is a guy that they really need to get them some additional scoring. And even though KCP had some great plays on the defensive end, he had 2 really, really bad fouls on 3-point shots that were obvious fouls. He's got to tighten it up a little bit, and I think they will. But those are 2 guys in particular that if I'm the Denver Nuggets, I'm hoping to see them play maybe a little bit closer to how they played throughout the rest of the playoffs compared to tonight. And if you're looking at how do I defend against Miami, I think it really comes down to 2 guys. Jimmy Butler's going to do his thing. Bam's going to do his thing, but it's Max Strus. And it might be Duncan Robinson. These automatic 3-point shooters, Denver was a little bit lazy on defense. And you can't just let these guys get open looks. Mike Malone's a good coach. He's going to make adjustments. We're going to see those in game 3. And I'm excited to watch the rest of the series.
Yeah, I think those lazy defensive possessions carried into their offense as well. That end of the third quarter into the fourth quarter was really bad. Some of those possessions where they were just turning the ball over. Miami going on a 12-2 run, and it just seemed like it was either a really bad shot or a turnover by Denver.
Yeah, that brings me to the last play. I understand Mike Malone not wanting to call a timeout because you don't want Miami to have a set defense. But as soon as Jokic and Murray run their patented pick and roll, and Murray gets stopped going to the right side with 4 seconds left, I believe Mike Malone should have called a timeout there. Because you know at that point, the only shot he's going to be able to get off is a contested step back 3. Why not call a timeout and run a set play to get a better look?
It seemed like a scramble to me. The pick and roll was Gabe Vincent and Jimmy Butler. I don't know what kind of matchup you're looking for there, but you got those 2. It seemed like a scramble to me. There's no way anything was set up. You see Mike Malone on the sideline kind of just putting his hand up, going like this, like telling him, go, get a good shot off. But I think he should have called a timeout when there's 14 seconds left in the game. Call a timeout then.
So you wanted a timeout as soon as they got the ball.
Yeah, call a timeout when you get the ball. Why not? I
Well, I
I
mean,
don't care about them getting into a set defense. It seemed like it wasn't a transition bucket at that point. Miami had time to get back into their defense, so you might as well get the best look out of it.
Denver felt a little frantic, like they needed to force something. And if you call the timeout, I don't think they feel as rushed as what it looked on the play.
Yeah.
But hey, Miami, everybody says watch out for Miami. I don't think it's actually watch out for Miami. I think it's still Denver. It's still Denver. But
Hey, but Miami
uh,
knows how to they know how to win games, man. They know
Miami
how to
knows
win
how to
games.
win games. They know how to come in and punch you in the mouth, and they did. They did tonight. And you know what? Denver responded. They got up to a big lead, but took their foot off the gas. And you can't take your foot off the gas in the NBA Finals. You might be able to in the first round. You might be able to in the second round, but not in the finals. Let's talk about some NBA news around the league. There've been a couple of small things, couple bigger things. One of the things that's been interesting, Damian Lillard puts his house up for sale, $7 million home up for sale. Does it mean anything, Roman? Tell me.
It has to mean something. Putting his house up for sale. This is a guy who's lived there for what, 10 years now? And he's putting his house up for sale?
He is.
There's something there. There has to be something with there. Especially with the draft pick that they're going to be getting. It looks like rebuild mode is officially happening. Looks like they're looking to shop Dave.
It's smart for Portland not to say anything, but this seems like it might be the only statement Dame can make that doesn't make him out to be a hypocrite, right? He's preached loyalty for so long, so if he says anything, it's going to invalidate everything he's said up to this point. So this is like a subtle move where it's like, "Hey, just letting you guys know, home's up for sale. NBA, it's time to come calling." It's not everything, but it's something, right? It's not everything, but it's something. I don't know how big it is because he was at the workouts for the top prospects, the Twins, Scoot Henderson. He showed up. He was there. He was in the building in Blazers gear watching these guys work out. So it's not everything, but it's something. Speaking of the draft, you brought it up. I talked about Scoot Henderson. I've got a bold prediction. I believe Scoot Henderson is absolutely NBA ready. I think he's going to be the best rookie of the entire class. I think he's going to do what John Morant did in his draft class, which was everybody was talking about Zion Williamson, hyping up Zion Williamson. Zion, he's been great when he plays, doesn't play enough games, kind of has fallen by the wayside, and Ja's star has continued to rise in the league. And now he's one of the faces of the league. I think Scoot Henderson, athletic point guard. Fans love athletic point guards. Those guys that are above the rim players, John Morant, Russell Westbrook, Derrick Rose. I think Scoot's going to be an incredible player, and I'm not going to be surprised if anything happens with Wemby if he's not the best player in this draft.
I can definitely see it happening. Scoot Henderson he's had 2 years with the Ignite now, so he's had that, I shouldn't say NBA experience, but as close as it gets. He's played along some of these guys who have been in the NBA. He's definitely taking a path that seems like it's going to lead to a successful NBA career, but I don't know. If Wemby doesn't get hurt, there's a reason that the hype is there. I mean,
That's fair. Okay, if Wemby doesn't get hurt, it doesn't matter how good Scoot plays. He could score 40 a
yeah.
game. Wemby's getting rookie of the year. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter.
Yeah, if Wemby, it's just so many of these cases where these first year guys get injured in their first year. I could definitely see it happening with Wemby. I mean, it happened with Chet. I don't want it to happen. I would love to see Wemby just start out and have a great career, but Scoot definitely seems like the more reliable choice. But in terms of like
Yeah.
risk to reward, that's why Wemby is top.
I mean, the reward with Wemby's everything, right? It's absolutely everything. But I'm telling you, man, Scoot Henderson, I think he's going to be big. So speaking of these young guys, John Morant, Zion Williamson, Wembenyama, Scoot Henderson, this brings up an interesting question that you had a few days ago.
Yeah. Who will be that next face of the NBA? Is it LeBron right now? Is it Curry? I mean, I think those are the top two consensus of who the face of the NBA is.
The ratings would say yes.
Yeah. And I just wonder 5 years from now, which guy are we going to see be the face of the NBA? Tatum is one of those names. Luka's obviously one of those names. If Zion can be healthy, he's definitely one of those names. Is it one of these newcomers? It's obviously not going to be Ja anymore. It's tough for me to say because Luka hasn't really been a he
This
has
year,
some
him missing the playoffs was really bad.
it hurts, it
It hurt
hurts,
him a
yeah.
lot.
When
It
the
hurt him a
NBA is
lot.
still going on and
Yeah.
you don't see this guy who's one of those faces, it hurts. I don't know who it could be as of right now. I wanna say it's gonna be Wemby with the way that they've been shoving his games and all the media down NBA fans' throats. So, in the next few years, if Wemby doesn't get hurt, I think he's going to be the face of the NBA, and we see him doing a lot of collaborations and stuff like that with the NBA.
What would be crazy is he'd be the first international face of the league. LeBron James might be the last player that stands alone at the top of the mountain as the face of the league. If you want to categorize Steph Curry as a 1B, and there's a few other guys, right? KD's up there, Kyrie's up there. These guys who've been around for a while, James Harden was up there for quite a long time. Russell Westbrook was up there for quite a long time. All these guys are going to be gone the next couple of years. You may see the face of the league be something that's held by a committee. It may be a long time until you've got a player that's at the same level as a LeBron James, but you could have 5 or 6 players collectively that are able to add up to the star level of a guy like LeBron. What that does for ratings, I'm not sure. But the truth is, as great as it is having a global game, having the face of an American league be someone from Europe, we don't know what that's going to do for the league. A lot of these European guys, they didn't grow up like we grew up. And that's not a problem. That's just reality. So, how do fans gravitate to those players? Do they gravitate to them the same way that they might gravitate to a more homegrown talent? I'm not sure. Only time will tell. If Zion Williamson was healthy, it would be Zion Williamson for sure. His game above the rim,
Very positive guy.
he's one of the only players. My wife watches basketball because I watch basketball. If it's on TV and I'm not there, she's not going to watch it. Zion is one of the only players over the entire time that I've known that woman that she has wanted to watch him play basketball. Genuinely. She wanted to see what he would do in the
He's
game.
entertaining. He's entertaining. Yeah.
That is face of the league. That quality, you just have it or you don't. Steph Curry has it because at any moment he could do something amazing. LeBron James, for years and years and years, at any moment could do something amazing. Kobe, Jordan, all these guys. I'm not sure what that looks like moving forward. I don't know who it is. And so if I came here and I told you someone, it wouldn't even be an educated guess for me. It would just be a guess for the podcast. And we're not going to do that to you guys. We're not going to do that to the listeners. Okay. If we don't know, we're going to tell you. All right. I'll tell you who it's not going to be, though. It's not going to be Jalen Brown.
It
It's not
better
going to be
not be
Jalen
Jaylen
Brown.
Brown.
You can't be the face of the league and not know how to dribble the basketball. Roman, this is now 2 years in a row. Jalen Brown has gotten exposed for not knowing how to dribble the basketball. It happened in the finals against Golden State. It's now happened again this year in the playoffs, Eastern Conference Finals, especially. Draymond Green even said, this was the scouting report for us last year. Force him to go left. He can't do it. What is this guy doing in the offseason? If this was 2K, he spent all of his VC on face masks and athleticism. Sir, sir, you got to be able to dribble a basketball. This guy's all NBA, Roman. What's going on?
It's bad. I truly don't know why this is the worst thing that could have happened for him going into a game 7, especially with his
Yeah.
contract year coming up. You want a super max and you go into a game 7 with 8 turnovers. I watched his post-game interview. He seemed distraught over his performance. He knew how awful it was, but I don't understand. Me and you talked about this. He just kind of looks really tight and
Yeah.
just like unsure at sometimes when he has the ball up top and Jason Tatum's kind of to the side. It's really unfortunate, but it seems like it was almost bound to happen because it's obviously a part of his game that he hasn't looked at over the past couple of years.
Yeah, he feels very tight. He doesn't play very loose. It's almost like he's over calculating what he's going to do, and it gets him into trouble. Sometimes he gets ahead of his skis as well when he gets too aggressive. And what's unfortunate is Jason Tatum sprains his ankle on the first play of the game. That was Jalen Brown's moment. That really was to say, I deserve to be all NBA. I deserve the contract I'm about to get from the Celtics. Let me take you to the promised land. Let me show you guys why I'm him. And he really did not deliver. And so here we are now, where we're talking about whether or not they should trade Jalen Brown. We've had this conversation multiple times. He's taken a very interesting approach with the media about it as well. If I'm Boston, I'm calling Portland and I'm saying, hey, if we give you guys Jalen Brown and a couple firsts, can we get Damian Lillard? I'm making that trade because I think Dame fits so much better with Jason Tatum than a guy like Jalen Brown does. I think Dame's going to be able to orchestrate an offense a lot better, and he's going to have the best player next to him that he's had in his career in Tatum. And as he starts to transition to the back half of his career, Jason Tatum is still on the way up. So I think it's a perfect fit for the both of them. If you're the Celtics, this is the moment where you make a move off of Jalen Brown to maximize Jason Tatum's career.
I agree. Just the way they both work on the ball, it's gonna be tough, but I think they can work that out. Yeah.
You got to do something. And if you're Jalen Brown, hey man, try and get somebody that can help you loosen up a little bit to get you flowing a little bit more in the game and just work on the handle. There's plenty of guys that you could train that could work on that. And at this point, there's no way he doesn't know that it's something he needs to do. Kenny the Jet Smith talks about how when he used to play against Michael Jordan, he said he had no problem guarding Mike in college.
The one thing that I thought that he didn't have when I was a freshman was his ball handling. He was good at darting to the rim, Dre, but he couldn't shake you. So I used to be like, oh, I got Mike. And he's like, oh, you gonna guard me? I'm like, yeah, because you can't dribble. You ain't got, and back then we used to handle. You ain't got no handle. So long story short, we play and pick up, blah, blah, blah. So next year comes and he goes, you calling me? I'm like, yeah, I got Mike. You like, handle's ridiculous. He's like, I got a handle now. I'll say this about him, Dre. He's the only best player in basketball history that the things he came in that was his weaknesses were his strengths when he left the league. His ball handling, his shooting, his turnaround jump shot, his post game was probably some of his weaknesses. Those were his strengths when he left the league.
So it's very possible. Some guys, they don't really do it in the offseason. Look at Rudy Gobert. He's not working on his weaknesses. Man still can't shoot a jump shot. Jalen Brown is self-aware enough to realize that this is arguably the one thing he needs to take his game to the next level. So I hope the message hits home and we see him with a better handle next season. Okay, speaking of trades and talking about GMs, we have to discuss the Bob Myers situation. Now, I've been on this Bob Myers story for weeks now. I
Yes,
was
you
talking
have.
about this in our first few episodes, and nobody was talking about it. Well, now it's official. Bob Myers is not re signing with the Golden State Warriors. People are saying that this is one of the first signs that the dynasty is ending in Golden State. And if I'm looking at Bob Myers, people want to give him a lot of credit, and rightfully so, for making the trade to get Kevin Durant. The role players that they've had in Golden State on this run, it's been amazing. The chemistry of the roster up until Draymond punched Jordan Poole has been incredible as well. With that being said, where I think Bob Myers hurt himself is he actually did miss on a couple of the most recent drafts. And it's clouded by them winning that championship last year, but they had a shot at LaMelo Ball. They didn't draft him. They took Wiseman. There were a couple other potential misses in drafts as well. And I don't think that Bob wants to be the guy that gets blamed for giving the dynasty players that next contract. Because I think we can all agree Clay's not worth max money anymore. You don't want to give Draymond all that money. Steph's the only player you'd want to pay a significant amount of capital to. And if you're Bob Myers and you've got a relationship with these guys, you've won championships with these guys, you don't want to have to be the guy that tells them no. So why not walk away? He has. He gets to take a couple years off. You're going to see Bob Myers work in this league again. But I think this was a very smart chess move by Bob.
His statement was something along the lines of it was going to end at some point, and I agree with you on him knowing that the dynasty was eventually going to come to an end. And I'm not saying that it is coming to an end, but it seems like he knows that it is dying down and that these guys are getting older. With his success that he had with the Warriors, in the future he will definitely be with some other franchise, probably getting them to championship contention.
He set that next GM up for failure, though. You know that next GM is
Definitely. Oh,
just gonna get wrecked.
well, especially the market that the Warriors are too. That's
Yes.
the pressure of having Stephen Curry, because he's not going anywhere.
No. The expectations are gonna be extremely high from the players, what they're expecting from you financially, from the fan base, from the ownership group, and the NBA is already making it harder to construct teams like what the Warriors are now. So good luck to the next guy. This was a little bit interesting. Adam Silver decided to have a press conference where he talked about the John Morant situation. Roman, help us understand what you saw around that whole situation.
Yeah, so he basically said that they were gonna wait till the end of the finals to say what they were gonna do about Ja's suspension or his punishment, basically. And in doing so, they basically made a bigger deal out of this than was
Yeah.
needed. All the attention, all the stuff that I'm seeing on social media is, what do you think Ja's punishment is gonna be? Why are they waiting till the end of the finals? Hey, let's relive what Ja did a few weeks ago after it's died down a little bit.
Yep.
And it kind of is taking away from the finals, but just so dumb by Ja, just time after time. But I think you said this, that he was gonna get probably half a year suspension, like 40
Mhm.
game suspension, something like that. And that's probably what's gonna happen. They have to take the situation seriously. And if half a season is what they have to do, they're gonna do it, which hurts the Grizzlies massively.
Well, the good news is the Grizzlies have played without Ja for significant stretches up to this point, so I think they'll be okay. They've got Triple J as well. This is the thing, Roman. For me, when I'm looking at this situation, at some point, the NBA as an organization, they sat around a table and they said, "What are we going to do about the John Morant situation?" Whoever's idea it was to host this press conference, I don't know what you were thinking. This reminds me of the classic thing people tell you where it's like, if I tell you, don't think of a pink elephant right now, what's going through your mind?
A pink elephant.
You dang right it is. So if the NBA comes to you and they say, we don't want you to think about John Morant right now, what are you going to think about?
Ja Morant.
You dang right you are, especially given what he did. This was obvious. What did you think people were going to do? Now you've also left us with this cliffhanger. How soon after the finals are you going to tell us? The next day? The next week? 2 weeks? What are you going to do? If I'm the NBA, if I'm sitting around that table, this is what I'm doing. Fans don't know how long it takes for us to run an investigation. So just because we've finished and we have all the evidence we feel like we need, the fans don't have to know that yet. We can stay quiet, let the finals play out and do their thing. And then once things die down, we can come in and address what we're going to do with John Morant. That was the smartest, most logical decision. And for some reason that I don't know, the NBA chose not to do it.
They make more talk for themselves. Hey, there's something to be excited for after the NBA finals.
So that's it for NBA news. For anybody still listening, we got a couple fun topics for you. I've got a pretty good one. I asked Chat GPT, what are the 5 best regular seasons in the history of basketball? Here's what it said. Number 1, Michael Jordan, 1986, 1987. Jordan led the league in scoring 37.1 points per game, 5.2 rebounds, 4.6 assists, and 2.9 steals. He won his first scoring title and was named MVP. Wilt Chamberlain in 61-62 averaged 50.4 points per game, the highest single season scoring average in NBA history. He also grabbed 25.7 rebounds a game. That was also the season he scored 100 points in a game. LeBron James, 2012-2013. He scores 26.8 a game, 8 boards, 7.3 assists, 1.7 steals, and he shot 56.5% from the field to win his 4th MVP. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 71-72, he averaged 34.8 a game and 16.6 rebounds. He won his first MVP and won his first NBA championship. And at 5, Magic Johnson, 86-87, scoring 23.9 a game, 12.2 assists, and 6.3 rebounds while shooting 52.5% from the field and winning a championship along with finals MVP. These were, according to Chat GPT, the 5 best NBA seasons of all time. Do you agree with them? I got to know. Actually, better yet,
Yeah.
Roman, rank these 5 seasons.
We're gonna rank them. We're gonna
Rank
rank
them.
them. Okay. Did Wilt didn't win the championship that year? Did he?
No.
No. So that just he doesn't have that he doesn't have the icing on top for that one. But that Jordan year, I mean 37 a game.
37 a game.
This what year was this?
86-87.
And was this the year he didn't win defense player of the year this year, did he?
No. No, he does
No.
not.
Okay.
He does get 2.9 steals, but he doesn't win DPOI.
That has to go 1.
Jordan?
That has to go 1.
You're putting Jordan 1? Okay.
He won the championship that he got a ring that year.
Jordan did not win in
Oh, he
86,
did.
87.
Oh, this is 86, 87.
No
Okay.
ring.
Okay,
You
that can't go 1.
your best statistical seasons, the players didn't win rings.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, LeBron did.
LeBron did.
LeBron did.
You putting LeBron at 1?
What outweighs does individual performance weigh more than rings here?
You know what I should have
Mm,
done? I shouldn't have even told you all the seasons. I should have just made you blind place them.
yeah.
That would have been so good.
But
We
there's 1 year for Jordan where he gets MVP, defensive player of the year. He gets a ring, he gets a scoring title.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think that was one of the early 90 years.
I didn't kill that mosquito. I missed it. Gosh. It's still in my house, man.
Coming back to haunt you.
I keep missing it. Okay, there's an argument to be made that 86-87 season wasn't even Jordan's best season,
Yeah.
especially with the way that it ended. Also, I think one of the biggest snubs on this list is Hakeem Olajuwon. His regular season where he goes MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Finals MVP was absolutely incredible.
And that
It
was
has to be up there. I have to know, what did Chat GPT miss? Who got snubbed on this list?
5 good ones, but there's
There's
plenty
so
more that we
many.
haven't even gotten into. Each one of those players probably has 5 different seasons that you could put in this category.
If you could take one stat and say that's the most impressive out of all of them,
50
what
and
one are you?
25.
So
50
you're
and
saying 50
25
points at 50. Okay,
is the
that's
craziest thing. That's like, did he win MVP that year? Or was
yeah.
this the year that Oscar Robertson snubbed it from him?
Wilt Chamberlain's averaged 50 points a game and got 25 rebounds, and the MVP was Bill Russell.
For what, like 28 and 16 or something like that?
This has to mean that the MVP has been awful since the 60s. This is ridiculous, man. Can you imagine if you scored 50 a game, you can't even win MVP?
That's bad. 50 a game. 50.
Okay, so listen to what he averaged. 23 rebounds, 18.9 points, and 4.5 assists. And he got the MVP over a guy scoring 50 a game and 25 rebounds.
What are we missing here? There's got to be something that we don't know.
Somebody needs to explain to me what happened in 1961. This is ridiculous. For anybody that missed the stat line, Wilt Chamberlain scored 50.4 points per game. Had one game where he scored 100 points, 25.7 rebounds, and couldn't win MVP. That's a narrative if I've ever heard one right
That's
there.
a narrative.
That's a narrative if I've
That's a
ever heard
narrative.
one. Unreal. R.I.P. Bill Russell.
Rip Wilt.
Could you just imagine shooting 56.5% from the field?
As a small forward. It's not
As
like
a small forward,
he's
not as
not
a center.
DeAndre Jordan doing
Yes,
this.
sir. Yes. Yeah.
Unbelievable. LeBron's taking his tough middies. The LeBron James History Instagram account posted about this, and I think I was telling you about this last week, where he goes on a 12-game stretch of shooting like 65%.
Yes.
And the graphic was LeBron breaks his streak by shooting 64% or something like that. Just unbelievable what 2012, 2013 LeBron was doing that year.
Okay. One-on-one matchups. Roman, you got killed this week.
Yes, I did. Yes,
You
I
got
did.
destroyed.
The moment I said Paul George is when everybody was done.
Yeah.
with.
Like they were already on the fence when you took Kyrie over AI, but as soon
Yeah.
as you said Paul George, they just couldn't even fathom listening to the rest of the video. So you read the comments, you enjoy the hate. I want to
I
know,
love it. It's hilarious.
I want to know, what was your favorite comment on that post? Do you have a favorite? And if you do, I need to know what it is.
There's so many. Let me think about what was the best one. The ones that aren't even like about it, but they just get like straight to the point, like about me and you. One of them was just fire this kid. Like we're legit business. And they were just like, fire this kid. He's done.
Let me read it.
Yes.
Should
yes.
we read some of these?
One of the other best ones is, this kid's literally 4 years old. Why are we listening to him?
Oh,
I get that one all the time.
okay. I need to understand what this comment means. I bet you eat turkey bacon. So much hate. What? This man's name is Pimp C2, Too. Pimp C2. He said, I bet you eat turkey bacon. So much hate. What?
There's got to be some meaning behind that, but I guess I'm too young to know what that means.
Why did we have to get turkey bacon involved? But nah, dude, these comments are hilarious. This kid doesn't know what he's saying. Stop making comparisons, please. Typical Gen Z. Bro, I'm pretty sure from your profile picture, you're Gen Z.
Probably is.
This guy's opinion is whack. If you say whack, you're old.
You're old.
You're old. And this is coming from Roman, who calls me old. Jeez, man. I turn 27 tomorrow. You're calling me old, man. 27.
Well, hey, at least you probably look like a 20-year-old, and I look like a 12-year-old to them.
If I
In
shave, I gotta look
comparison.
younger. Hey, one of the comments said I look like Jamal Murray. What?
Who is this Jamal Murray looking like?
In what universe, man? I had to shave. No
Oh,
way.
I know my favorite comment.
Okay.
Just a comment, irrelevant comment that just said, why he looked like a girl.
It had to be you because I have
It
a
has
beard.
to be. Yeah, you have a
It's gotta
beard.
be
It's
you. It's
me.
gotta be you.
It's me.
So one of the things that some of these old heads are doing right now, they're going to the courts outside and there's nobody playing. And they're saying, what happened to everybody that used to come out and play basketball? They're pulling up to the courts at like 10 in the morning. Like, hey, man, a lot of people aren't even out of bed or they have jobs. This was my
Mhm.
opinion. I said, if we don't want this to happen, maybe what we should do is stop making fun of young people trying to learn basketball. Maybe we should stop calling them casuals or making fun of them for their opinions or making fun of them for not being able to play. Maybe what we should do is teach them basketball or show them some of these historical players or help them understand the game. What do you expect from these guys? You think they're just going to learn it themselves? A lot of times they may need somebody to help them learn or help them understand. Or these guys are like, those guys don't know. They didn't live it. YouTube exists. The NBA app exists. We actually watch these guys play. We actually go back and we watch these games. We watch all the finals. We watch the playoff runs. We watch the historic performances. So maybe what we should do is instead of attacking these young people for trying, for wanting to learn, why don't you teach them, show them, help them grow?
It's so true. It's almost like gatekeeping your NBA knowledge at this point. All
Yes,
these
that's a great way to put
all
it.
these older guys are just like, you don't know. And I'm not going to tell you why you don't know. But me and these older guys, man, we used to watch these guys play. You don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, then tell me about it. And they're like, nah, you wouldn't understand. You
You
play a
wouldn't
different type
get
of
it.
basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just different from you. And that's my perfect way of putting it is they're trying to gatekeep the type of basketball that they play.
You summed it up way better than me.
I think a lot of that gatekeeping comes from it's almost like that nostalgic feeling. Like,
Okay.
you know, your favorite video game from back in the day, you'll go back and play it when you get a little bit older and you just say it's never the same. The 90s and the early 2000s, and they reminisce on it so much because it was like, yes, a simpler time in life for them. You look back on your life and simpler times, different situations that you were in life, and you look back on and you're like, that was fun. That was good. Maybe you were a kid and that's just the best version of basketball. A lot of biased opinions come from the fact that we're biased to how our life was when we were enjoying that certain type of basketball. Moses, we have another week of one-on-one matchups. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to start at the center and go up from there. So our first matchup, Hakeem Olajuwon versus Shaquille O'Neal.
It's Shaquille O'Neal. I know Hakeem swept Shaq in the finals, but prime Shaquille O'Neal was in the early 2000s. I'm sorry. There's no center better than prime Shaq, in my opinion. I'm taking him over Hakeem.
Onto our forward position, Kevin Durant versus Larry Bird.
That's not fair. That's not fair. And Kevin Durant's not fair in one-on-one because he's 7 feet tall. Where he shoots the ball from it's unguardable. I have to go Kevin Durant here. It's no disrespect to Larry Bird. I think he's the most disrespected top 10 player in the history of basketball. But Kevin Durant one-on-one, I'm taking KD.
One of the most classic ones. We've got MJ versus Kobe.
This is not a question. It's Michael Jordan. I don't want to hear it. It's MJ all day. It's MJ all day. You can't call a man the GOAT and then not take him one-on-one against the guy who uses the same moves. They're his moves. One-on-one, it's Michael Jordan. No matter how high they turn up the intensity, because you know that's the most intense game of one-on-one ever. It's MJ all day.
We got Devin Booker versus Jamal Murray.
Oh my gosh.
I really like this one.
Jamal is incredible. His post game's actually really, really good. But we're going Devin Booker here. He's bigger than Jamal Murray. His contested jump shot game, both of them are so good at contested jump shots. But I got to go Devin Booker. I like his game in one-on-one a little bit more, a little bit more. Pick and roll, it's Jamal Murray, but one-on-one, give me Devin Booker.
Our point guard matchup, we've got in their prime, Derrick Rose versus Russell Westbrook.
Can I opt out?
You have to give me an answer.
I have to give you an answer.
You have to give me an answer.
It makes it seem like I don't like Russell Westbrook, but I'm going to take prime Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose's MVP season, it felt like he could do everything. He was never a great three-point shooter, but it felt like he hit threes when he needed to. He was just absolutely amazing. I have to take Derrick Rose, and it is in no way, shape, or form disrespect to Russell Westbrook. His triple-double seasons are incredible, but there's no one to pass the ball to here. And even though he is extremely athletic, I don't know how well that athleticism translates to a one-on-one game against a guy who's just as athletic, arguably. So give me Derrick Rose. Would you change any of my choices?
I don't think I'm going to contest any. I like it.
Now, there was a one-on-one matchup that was played this past week that does need to be mentioned. Roman, he came down. You watched game one with me. You brought our sister. I had keys to a local gym. We went and played, and I felt like I played okay,
You
but I
did.
lost. But I
You
lost.
did.
I lost both games 8-11. What were your thoughts after the game?
Well, first, let me go to before the game.
Okay, okay.
I had no idea that you wanted to play. I didn't even know you still played basketball on a regular basis.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
Moses just randomly goes, "All right, Roman, let's go." And I was like, "What? He wants to play? Since when does Moses want to play?" And I don't think we'd ever played
Never.
together or against each other before
Never.
this.
Nope.
Like ever. And so I was just kind of in shock for the first few possessions. After I was like, okay, Moses can still play. He's not just a casual as he knows how to move his way around the court. You know what you're doing out there. I mean, obviously, dude, you scored eight points on me.
Yeah, so here's the deal. If I was playing more consistently, I think that I could get a game on you, but if we play 4 or 5, I'm winning 1. I'm not winning 3 games out of 5 or 2 out of 5. I'm probably winning 1. I'm probably getting hot in one of those games, and then we're running it back and it's getting embarrassing. The reality was, I don't know if you missed more than 2 3-pointers the whole time we played. I was so impressed with your game, man. It was just really fun to get to see because it's one thing to, I watched you play in high school, but I haven't really seen you play at all with all this training that you're doing. So to get you to come down and play in that game, I've never lost a game of basketball and been so proud. It was just such a weird feeling. Like I want to play again because it was so fun. And we do need to say this needs to be on the record that Roman's back. He's been a little bit injured, so he was not playing at 100%, but I haven't really been playing since the playoffs started because I've been here doing this for you, America. So you need to give me some time to get my jump shot back a little bit more. And I think the only reason I've got any advantage on you right now is because I'm bigger than you. So I can get some easier buckets. But boy, if you get another college season under your belt and you gain 20 pounds,
It's over.
it's
over,
gonna be
man.
tough. It's gonna be tough for me, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's gonna be tough. But to anybody in the family that's listening, Roman is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the family, the best basketball player without question. Not a doubt. There should not be a doubt in anyone's minds that if we played one-on-one, the better player is that guy wearing an orange hoodie right now. I don't think I'm fully washed yet. I can still get above the rim too. Like I'm not washed yet. I still got some time in me.
My goal is, if we continue to play, is to never let you beat me. That's my goal from now on.
As long as you just don't do what our dad does, and as soon as I get really close, you just never play me again.
Give up on the game. I've been asking him to come and just shoot with me for years. He won't even touch a basketball if I'm near.
That was always his move, man. So our dad is so competitive, but he would just be weird about it. I know he's probably going to be listening to this too, but this was his move. Okay. If you played anything against our father, the jump in your skill level had to happen when he wasn't paying attention. He would normally crush you. He never let you win anything. If you get close to beating our dad, he'll never play you in that again. So you literally have to just become better without him knowing and beat him because if you get close, you have no more chances. I still remember I beat him in chess once, and he told me it's because he was sick. First time I'd seen the man sick in my life. Never played me again. I played chess the whole summer. He had no idea. And then when I got close to beating him one-on-one, he obviously was so much bigger than me. He would just catch me in midair. I would go to score the ball, and he would just literally, I would elevate to score, and then I would just stop in midair because he just would catch me. And he would just set me on the ground. And he'd go, foul, give me the ball again. It was absolutely ridiculous. Never played me in one-on-one again after that.
That's the most dad thing to do I've ever heard.
It is, man. It is. How many shots you shooting a day on average right now, Roman?
At least 400 or 500 a day.
400 or 500 shots a day, man. And let me tell you something, America. Jump shot's real. He's the truth out there. The work, you can see the results. Back to the pod. You've got one last topic for us. It's not one-on-one, it's 3-on-3. Let's hear it.
We've got a 3-on-3 matchup. We've got MJ, Magic, and Larry versus LeBron, Kobe, and Kevin Durant.
In 3-on-3.
In a 3-on-3 game, yeah.
Goodness gracious. Okay, you're going to have to help me break this one down. When I'm looking at the matchups, MJ is winning the matchup against Kobe. He's winning that matchup. LeBron is winning the matchup against Magic Johnson. LeBron is a better scorer than Magic Johnson. He is the better offensive threat in more ways than Magic.
Is he a better distributor?
He's a better defender, but it's 3-on-3. It's not the same. You're not distributing the same. You're not playing full court.
Okay.
Like it's not fast break. It's different. And Durant's 7 feet tall, elevating over Larry Bird in one-on-one.
Okay, Larry's
Durant
like 6'9", 6'10".
Durant wins the matchup in one-on-one. I think I'm going the young guys. I'm taking Kobe, Bron, and KD.
It's definitely valid. The only advantage that your old heads have there is MJ, but MJ is Michael Jordan. But this is the tough thing about this is it's 3-on-3, and you're not ever going to see a 3-on-3 matchup. Like you can go one-on-ones, you can go 5-on-5s. So maybe if we added 2 more to these teams, if I give you like a Chris Paul, Tyson Chandler.
Okay.
Hey, that's the team.
Where the heck did those names come from? Jesus. Oh my God.
That team.
Tyson Chandler can't even sweep
this is like 2012 USA team.
I don't care. Tyson Chandler's not sweeping the floor with these guys, man. He can't
okay,
even
but I'm saying
for these guys.
So say I give you those 2 names, but then we go over to the old heads and I give you John Stockton and the Dikembe Mutombo.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
But that's what I'm saying. You can't. It's
you just diluted. You diluted the water.
Yeah,
that is just bad.
But the 3-on-3, you're sticking with the young guys. MJ doesn't outweigh those 3.
3-on-3, I'm sticking with the young guys. Have to.
LeBron and Kobe together is
Bro,
crazy.
I mean, have you seen his Olympic highlights, Bronze? Jeez, he blocked the ball so hard it go through the ceiling. My goodness. All right, Roman. Anything else you got to say to America?
Thanks for the support. Thanks for the hate. It's all love.
Hey, this is one of the things that people don't get, man. Roman's got the thickest shell out of the 2 of us, I think. Comments are really not getting to him.
I am stubborn. I said what I said, and I'll laugh at what you say to me.
He's just laughing. So, hey, man, let me tell you something. Your hate contributes to our success. So whether you hate us or you love us, you're still here. You're still here. Here's all I got to say. As the second best basketball player in this family, thank you so much to everybody who listened to this episode of the podcast. It was a really fun one. Super excited for where we go from here. Send this to somebody. Share one of our videos on social media. We would really appreciate it. We are humbled to even be in the position that we're in, to start knocking on the door of some consistent success as far as how some of our videos have gone. All of that is thanks to you. We wouldn't even be here if our mom didn't share one of our first videos back when we were getting like 8 views a video. Now we've been lucky enough to get over 100,000 views on at least one video, I think for 3-4 weeks in a row. So we really appreciate everybody listening for how much you're supporting us. Please, once again, like, follow, subscribe. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Instagram, TikTok. We're on all your favorite platforms. So please follow us where you
everywhere. And if you don't, it's getting ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous.
That's it for the Swish List Podcast, episode 6. We'll see you next week. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Swish List Podcast. Catch us on social, and we'll see you next week.